Hello musicians, welcome back. My name is Bucky Dirtle and I am doing the Trummer drum synthesizers. This is tutorial number 3 on Trummer. It's a complicated drum synthesizer. There's a lot to it, but it gives us some fantastic sounds. Trummer and Trummer 2 are drum synthesizers by Vult, and I love Vult modules. I absolutely love them. They're so rich and they sound so full. I just love them, and I think you will too. So make sure you get the Vult plugin for your all the plugins for your VCV rack modules, your VCV rack DAW, and start exploring Trummer. So let's have a look. This is the third one. Last two we talked about oscillators, and we went over a lot of the controls of the oscillators, and some of those things apply to noise as well, which is the second part of the Trummer synthesizer. I'm going to initialize this. Let's have a listen to what we have as a sound. So you can hear that Trummer gives us an oscillator sound, you can hear here, and it gives us a noise sound, which you can hear here. Okay, so we've already talked about the oscillator sound already, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the noise part of this. Now, as you can hear, it's noise. And we have the same ADSR, or AHR, and I left this connected in our scope so you can see the envelope out, because the envelope is controlling that. Now, we could put this into a VCA, and control the VCA using that. Let's just have a quick look. Why not? VCA. I could use this input to go into here, and if I had another sound, I could use that to control the sound, use my ADSR as an out to that. So that might be something you might want to do. Very cool. So the Trummer is not only able to output really cool sounds, but because we can take the envelope out, the attack, hold, and release out, we can also control other devices. Let's have a look at what noise is going on here. Now, we have our tone, which is an EQ. It's it looks to be a high-pass filter, and so we can kind of fine-tune how much of the high-pass filter, how much of the high frequencies we want going through. So you can fine-tune that. By the way, Vult has some really fine filters. So ones like Spank, which are made for drums, there are a lot of really good filters they have that you might want to check out. But we'll talk about that another time. Now we have attack, hold, and release, as we said. We also have decimate. It's like a bit destroyer. So that adds a distortion, like a digital distortion, to our sound. So a lot of cool stuff there. Now let's move on. We can input from an external module, as you can see here, external sound. We have external in, just like we did with the oscillator. We have an external in here, so we can mix that in as well. So I can bring in these oscillators here. Now, there's a lot that we can do with Trummer. Because we can bring in our external oscillators, and they will be applied to our attack, hold, and release, as we see in the scope here, we are controlling a lot of stuff here with this. Just think for a second. If we have our VCO, let's take a saw wave. And we already got a saw wave. Let's take a triangle. We go to external in, and we crank up our sound here. And our external, we crank up a bit. So now, if you think about what we're controlling here, because again, this is not music related, this is technical. We have our oscillator here, which is built into Trummer, which is sounding, and applied to our ADSR. We have VCO1, which is also sounding, applied to our ADSR. And on the noise side, we have our noise producer, which is controlling the sound. That's being controlled by the ADSR. And we have our chainsaw input as well. So we have in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sounds that we can use to make up our sound. Now, that's just the beginning of it. Sometimes, there's times in the past when I've been doing pieces of music where I wanted to have a certain sound, and the sound I created was a combination of a half a dozen different sounds, all put together in order to create one unique sound. This does it for us. And if you look at some of the Foley work that's being done, you can watch videos on YouTube about that kind of stuff, where Foley artists will make a sound, but it won't just be one sound. It'll be several pieces of sound combined. Trummer allows us to do that. Allows us to connect all these sounds together to produce a unique sound that we want. Very, very powerful. We can also control this device on the right side, just like we could with the other side, with the left side. Our noise can be controlled by a control voltage. So we can connect a LFO right here and choose what we want, what parameter we want controlled, and do it. So that's that. And one other thing I forgot to mention. We have our fast and slow, like we did on the oscillator side. It just makes our ADSR, or attack, hold, release, function quicker than in slow mode. So there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, musicians of the world, that is Trummer. That is the technical overview of Trummer. There's a Trummer 2, which I'll be going over, which has some unique features as well. I'll be doing that one in future tutorials as well. But this is the basics of Trummer. This is not a musical overview. This is a technical overview. So I would love to have an opportunity to speak to you about the musical ways we can use Trummer, but I think you can probably find some cool ways to do things yourselves. I'd love to hear about those. So feel free to contact me in the comments. I'd love to hear about your music, about what you're doing to use Trummer or some of these other modules in your own music. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching today. Be sure to connect with me, and I will see you next time.